Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is quite a late night video. It's about 10:15 at night. I've got work at 5. I've got to be up at work for work at 5 in the morning. But I've just got back from watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which is a new T-shirt I got for my birthday off Jack. For the third time. What could be the third and final? We'll see. I'm half and halving at the minute, which is what I was just looking at, in case you were wondering. So I'm wearing a shirt that I'd wear out, and then I'm wearing pyjamas that I also got for my birthday. Because it's late and I needed to really get ready for bed and stuff like that. We've got the stars above us, so we're really going for the galaxy theme of this. And there's just a couple of things I wanted to mention about the film. Obviously this is the third time I've watched it. First time was with Mike and Steph, and I've gave you their opinions. I went to see it with Lauren afterwards, on Saturday, I believe it was. And she really enjoyed the film as well. And then I went to see it with Jack today, because he was in America when it came out, and didn't get a chance to see it over there. He's been dying to see it, so I said I'd go with him. And he thought it was better than the first one as well. For me to have watched it 3 times, I've clearly enjoyed the film. Watching it twice more, especially in such rapid succession, has made me think about some things more clearly, and speaking to more people about it's made me think about things more clearly. So the things I wanted to mention that I said in my original video that I wanted to sort of edit. This is as far as I know stuff that I said. I haven't rewatched it or anything like that, but this is stuff that I just wanted to mention on top of what I've already said. I know I probably mentioned there was a lot of people that complained about the Sovereign in this film, and I could see where they were coming from, and I'm wondering if they'd... I can't remember if I said it or I was just thinking it, but originally when I first saw the first one, when I saw it for the first time, I thought that if we cut out more Sovereign stuff, it'd be a little bit shorter. I don't really think it made a difference though. Like, it doesn't feel like a long film. It's brilliant. I loved the film. The more I've watched it, the more I've thought I'd really enjoy this film, and I'd happily watch it again. Pardon me. Yeah, so the Sovereign really didn't feel like they were in it as much as I thought they were, in a way. Like, I don't know if it's just because they seemed a bit out of place, but then watching it for the third time today, I was like, really it helped advance the plot in a way because of the prison sequence, and without the Sovereign helping the two sides of the Ravagers split, causing the prison scene, we wouldn't have had that brilliant prison scene. So the stuff like that that really, like, they were needed for things like that, and I'm pretty happy they were in the film because of it. There's little things that, like, shouldn't annoy me, but because I've watched it 3 times so consecutively, it has. During the scene where they're having a mutiny, a lot of them are shouting, "This is mutiny, this is mutiny." And it's not people that are getting thrown out of the ship, it's people committing the mutiny. It's like they're trying to make it obvious for, like, the younger viewers or people that are only half paying attention. By the way, this is a mutiny, and I sat there going, I know, you don't have to tell me. Like, remember earlier when it happened, and now it's happening? Like, maybe it was for people that don't really know what a mutiny is. But this, they showed a trailer for Pirates of the Caribbean as well before this, and that's obviously a Disney film. Before the film, and there's mutiny mentioned in that a lot. So if they think fans of this film would be fans of that film as well, then clearly we should all know what mutiny is. I don't know, it just seemed to, like, really bug me. Another thing that sort of bugged me was, and I'm going to get my phone for it, I set an alarm on my phone when I went to the toilet about halfway through the film, just because I'd seen it twice beforehand, so I needed the toilet, and I thought, I'm not going to miss anything because I'll remember it all. It's not a note. I usually save things in my notes, and I didn't this time. I saved it in an alarm. Mutiny father. Oh, I know what it was. Nebula. Nebula tells them in the same scene as this is a mutiny. In the same scene as that, Nebula says that there's been enough killing for today, and as she steps forward, someone in the crowd goes, "Thanos is her father," or something like that, and mentions that Thanos is her father. And I was just thinking, okay, maybe people have forgotten since then, but like, it was just like, it was a bit stupid to me. What, in a way, that someone's literally standing there shouting out plot points for me. Like, if that person was throughout the whole film shouting plot points to me, I'd have just been like, leave me alone. There's no need for this. Like, if they were stood there and they were like, you met Ego and you started hearing about his plan properly, and he started standing there going, he's evil. I'd be like, thanks, like, I gathered that now. Like, it bugged me for whatever reason. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention that sort of bugged me about the film was Ego himself. As he's going through his, like, this is how I became what I was, I decided to make myself human because I decided there was more out there. Why did he go for human? Like, the first image that he goes to, that he creates, to show that, like, he was looking for life, the first person he met was an alien. But he went there as a human. Like, I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get why he chose to be a human for every single planet. Why did he not go to every planet as a different species? As that. I wouldn't say as that planet's inhabitants, but like something that's not clearly human. Something that when you land on the planet, they're not going to go, what the hell is that? Because I don't think, not 100% sure. I know we did America went to the moon in like the 60s or 70s or something like that. I'm not 100% sure on the date. I wasn't there. But like, I don't think that word would have spread that quickly between aliens for them to know what exactly we look like. So why he went as a human, I don't know. But yeah, little things like that I was just like, oh, just started to notice. But it wasn't like, oh, this has ruined the film for me. Like, I came out of it for the third time thinking, I love this film, at least on par with the first one. It's a brilliant movie, I love it. I don't know why people are criticising it as much as they are. And when I was telling Jack about it and telling him that everyone was criticising it and not liking the Pac-Man bit, which I think I mentioned in mine, that I wasn't really sure how I felt about the Pac-Man bit, it sort of took me out of it. The second time I watched it, I was like, okay, it's just a bit of fun. And then I told it to Jack while we were in the car on the way back, and Jack said the same thing. He was like, people are looking for something really serious in a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Why are they doing that? And I can agree with him on that. I don't know why people are looking for something so serious. Why are they, even though it's a serious climactic moment, it really doesn't. It's not against the grain for something like that to crop up. So yeah, he sort of helped me change my perspective, and I didn't hate the bit anyway, but I didn't hate it anyway, but it sort of made me go, yeah, it's just a bit of fun, it really doesn't make a difference. So yeah, I love this film. I can't wait for me to get it on Blu-ray so I can watch it another 17,000 times. I've already been to see it 3 times, so why not watch it again? But yeah, it was really good. And the one thing I wanted to mention, now I've finished that, I will have to put spoilers in the title of this one, just to be safe. Even though it's a Let's Talk About, and you should all know by now that I spoil things when I'm talking about Let's Talk About that, some things, blah blah blah. The one thing I wanted to talk about was Infinity War. The only thing I know about Infinity War is the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy are in it. Me and Jack were talking about this, and I agree with him on this point. He made this point, and I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense. He doesn't really care about seeing them in team-up movies like Avengers and stuff like that, and he doesn't really want to see things like, we know Iron Man's in the next, I'm caught on the stars. Iron Man's going to be the next Spider-Man film, and he mentioned he didn't really want to see people team up with Guardians of the Galaxy because they don't need that. Like, there's no one that you can really put with them currently that I can think of anyway, and that he could think of, that would be a good addition. Like, Iron Man teaching Spider-Man how to be a hero, fair enough, but like, these are completely different characters. They've got their own personalities that bounce off each other really well. Adding another one that's a well-established character is going to be a bit of a struggle. So we're sort of happy to see it as just Guardians of the Galaxy. I called them like the stepson that no one really thinks about and cares about, and he's just over on the side. And I like that. I like the fact it's a little bit. It makes Marvel films seem a little bit indie because it's very different and it's not the same, and it's just over off on its side, over off on the side, and it's on its own and things, and I like that. So yeah, I'd prefer to keep it as it is. Let's see what they do with Infinity War. Maybe I'll change my mind, but at the minute I'm happy to keep them just as a team, and that I don't need to see them team up with anyone else really. Yeah. There was something I was going to mention, and I forgot about it until now. And I was saying things then, and I wanted to mention it. And it's about Guardians of the Galaxy team ups. It's gone. I'm never going to remember it. We'll see if I remember it, and we'll talk about it again later. If not, that's the end of this. Just wanted to do like a little bit of a tag on the end of that, because I've seen it 3 times now. Oh God, I've got a feeling it's something to do with the sequel. No. It's completely gone. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little add-on at the end of the last one, even though the last one's been uploaded. So I'm just going to do this as a separate upload, but it's technically an add-on. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you again in the next one, which could be tacked onto the end of this if I can remember what I'm trying to think about. I've remembered what the point was. I remembered that night, had to set an alarm to remind me, then try and remember a few days later because I forgot to record it and I was busy and shit. The point was Marvel villains. I can't remember where I read this or heard this or anything like that, but someone seemed to mention something about the fact that Marvel never get very good villains, and that's true to a point. I've really enjoyed this villain in this film. I've enjoyed both I've enjoyed both Guardians of the Galaxy villains. Obviously there's the first film one, who's completely slipped my mind, but then obviously there's this one, Ego, and the way he ties into the story from the first one as well as the second one, and Peter's backstory and everything, I just love him, and the fact that I just love the way he is as a character, and I think he's played really well. I think it's a really good story. Sorry, I was scratching the arm that I was holding the camera with. I'm now going to do the other one, just to annoy people. I think he's really well acted, it's well written, and it's not a giant hole in the sky. And I feel like I've read somewhere that it was compared to that like, oh, it's just another like thing in the sky, but Guardians of the Galaxy is set in the stars and in space. So what did you expect? Did you expect us to like land on Earth again and have just a random person as the villain? Like, I don't know. I don't get people's logic when they're thinking about it like that. But it was a full planet. Like we've stepped it up a little bit villain wise here, and I thought it was a really good villain. I understand why people didn't like him as a villain, but you know, we got a full backstory on him. We got a great interaction with him and the hero, because you find out they're related and everything. So yeah, I really like the way they set up this villain and the way it all panned out. I get that people wouldn't, but yeah, that was my next point. That was the last point I was trying to think of. Mostly the fact that people have been comparing it to another thing in the sky, right? Because we got a portal in Avengers, we got a portal in Doctor Strange, we got a portal in oh Jesus, what's the film? Suicide Squad. Even though they're not even, that's Marvel and DC, which is completely different. Well, we keep getting portals in the sky. And I swear I've heard or seen someone compare this to another thing in the sky. Can't they move away from putting things in the sky? And you can't. This is Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy. We're not going to go to one planet and have a villain on it. Like, and even if we do, technically that's a villain in the sky because we're in the fucking galaxy. So yeah, that annoyed me when I saw or heard or someone said that. So I wanted to express it. I thought this was a really good villain. I'm interested to see what the next villain's like. That's probably going to end up being just a person on a planet instead of a full planet. But they can't all be planets because that'd just be crazy. So it's going to be interesting to see how things are, like, stepped up as well as stepped down at the same time, because you're not going to have a full-size planet. It's just going to be, like, a supervillain, and how they're going to make that supervillain, like, a real threat. So yeah, I enjoyed this villain. I'm looking forward to all the villains in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video for the last time, I promise. I'm pretty sure this is the last time I'm going to talk about this film. I'm loving this shirt, so I'm wearing it again. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again in the next one.